everyone, this is Carla from Carla Being Crafty, and I just thought I would come on here today and do a quick little demo for you guys on how to do a loop start using 3 strands, which I know is a little bit unusual. I hear people on FlossTube all the time talking about how they would prefer to use 3 strands because they want heavier coverage, but they also would prefer to do a loop start. So they have a dilemma because you cannot do a loop start with an uneven number of strands. But I am here to tell you that yes, indeed, you can do a loop start with an uneven number of strands, and I am going to show you how. So the first thing I'm going to do, well, for demonstration purposes, I'm using this piece of Ada. This is not the first time I've tried this video, so that's why you see holes where I've done this already, but having technical difficulties, so we're trying it one more time. So I'm using this piece of 11 count Ada, so the holes are nice and big, and I'm using these really big awkward needles, so please forgive me you know, if my thread slips out or something, because the needles are actually really too big, but I wanted you to be able to see what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a regular loop start. I do all of most of my stuff from the front of my fabric. I do my loop starts from the front, and I do my pin stitches from the front. I don't like turning over the fabric any more than I have to, so I do all of these little techniques from the front. And so I'm going to show you how to do a regular loop start. When you do a regular loop start, you take your strand of floss, you fold it in half, and then when you thread your needle, you have a loop at the end, like that. Okay, now normally my stitches would go from the bottom left to the top right, but when you're doing a loop start, instead of coming up from the bottom left, you're actually going to go in from the front on the top right, and you're going to pull your needle through, leaving a loop on the front. Then you're going to come up through the bottom left like your normal stitch. You're going to take your needle, put it through the loop, pull it, and then go down into the top right like a normal stitch and pull your loop through. Okay, this is what it looks like on the back. You can see there's the loop. Okay, then you complete your stitch like normal and cross your stitch. And that is a loop start from the front. Okay, now if you're going to do a loop start with an uneven number of strands, with 3 strands, there's 2 methods you can use for your floss. You can take your single piece of floss, and instead of doubling it, you can triple it. Or you can take 1 piece of floss and double it, and take a second piece of floss that is a little bit longer than the half length and the doubled floss. But in any case, once you thread your needle, the other end, you will have a loop, and a tail. Okay? Loop and tail. And the tail is what is allowing us to do this modified loop start. Okay, so just like you did with a regular loop start, you're going to start from the front. You're going to go in through the top right. You're going to leave your loop and tail on the front. You're going to come up through the bottom left. Oops. Come up through the bottom left. Okay. You are going to put your needle through the loop, just like we did before. Pull it a little tight. And then you're going to go back through the hole. Now, sometimes when you do this, you're going to take the tail with you, which is good. Sometimes you have to coax the tail through, but this time we were able to pull the tail through with the needle, and then you pull your loop onto the back. So there's your tail. There's your tail and your loop. Okay, then you're going to want to hold on to the tail, come back over, and complete your stitch. And sorry. I unthreaded my needle. Okay. So again, we're holding onto the tail. We're going to complete the stitch. Okay. Then, like with any other tail start, you are going to lock that tail in by stitching a few stitches over it. Just like that. So then on the other side, you've got your loop holding that first stitch nice and tight. You've got your tail locked in with these threads, and as you continue to stitch, it will get locked in even more. And there is your loop start using an uneven number of threads. Now the reason that you might want to do this, as I said, if you want to have a higher count number of threads for coverage or whatever, it's going to be less bulky on the back. Oops, on the back, because you only have the one tail instead of 3 strands that are coming through. I really like the pin stitch. I think it feels nice and secure. I think it makes the back look neater. You don't have loose threads to get caught in other stitches, etc. I have never had a problem with the tail pulling, you know, with the first stitch being loose, because it gets locked in with the top leg. So I think that this is a really good method for doing a loop start with an uneven number of threads. So there you go. If you have any questions about this method or this video, then please leave them in the comments section below, and I will do my best to answer any questions and address any comments. And if you like this video, if you found it informative or helpful, then please go ahead and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I look forward to talking to you again in my next video. And in the meantime, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. Thank you. Bye-bye.